Welcome to It's a Woman's World, a show which discusses any and all topics under the sun from a woman's point of view. Hosted today by Junita Cathey, and here's Junita.
Welcome to It's a Woman's World. My name is Junita Cathey, and co-hosting with me today is Nadia Giordana.
Hi, Junita.
Hello, how are you?
Good to be here.
Good to see you. And I'm really excited about our show topic today. First, let me introduce our guest, Sharon Smith-Akensanya. She is the founder and executive producer of Moms Rock Expo. And we're going to spend some time talking about the expo that's coming up and then kind of the thoughts and the concepts about how Sharon came up with this wonderful expo. So thanks for joining us today, Sharon. How are you?
Thanks for having me. How are you? And
I'm
how are you,
good.
Nadia?
Good, good.
Good.
So tell us, Sharon. Okay, so we have this Moms Rock Expo that's coming up in May.
Yeah.
Tell me a little about your vision behind putting this production on, because it's first of its kind.
Yes.
How did you come up with this idea? What is this supposed to be about? Just tell us a little about Moms Rock Expo.
Well, Moms Rock Expo is just a labor of love. I think that we should do a better job in our state of Minnesota and in our nation of celebrating moms. One of the things that moms has to do is we've got to raise healthy, happy children. And they can grow up to be the next president of the United States.
Absolutely.
They can grow up to be caregivers. They might grow up to be the scientist that solves for cancer. And so it's a tough job being a mom. And so what I wanted to do was have 2 days set aside to celebrate that, to celebrate moms, because moms are so busy. And moms never really, generally, take the times to just connect, share, grow, and just really focus on themselves. So I wanted 2 days in the state of Minnesota just for moms so that we can access the best that Minnesota has to offer to help moms live life easier and healthier. And so this is my way of doing it.
Wow.
What a great idea. Is this the first year?
It is the
Okay.
first year, It is the first year, and I expect for it to be many, many years to come. So it is going to be an annual event.
Oh, terrific.
So first year, an opportunity for moms to get together. I know for myself as a mom, sometimes we're so busy in that job as a mom
Yeah.
that we don't get to celebrate it.
Right.
We may post a picture here on social media, or we may, have this huge birthday party for our child, but we really don't get to celebrate. How many moms do you hear saying, I'm a really good mom?
I'm a really good
How
mom.
about you? So I think this is a great opportunity.
It is. We need to stop. We need to slow down, celebrate those mommy milestones, take the chance to take the opportunity to connect with one another, really focus on one another. Hi, Junita, how are you really feeling? Hi, Nadia, how do you really, instead of just going through this motion, I want us to stop for 2 days and focus on us. And you guys know when we get on the airplane, what does the pilot tell us? Is that what was he saying? Put the oxygen mask over you, right? Before you help others. And this is what what I want to get done with Moms Rock Expo. I want moms to take a minute, put the oxygen mask on your mouth first, come down, hang out with us for a couple of days, and really find out what you don't know, and what others are doing to do this mommy thing easier and to support your own personal goals. Whether it's starting your own business like yours, Junita, or, you might want to, while you're working, you want to figure out a way to maybe launch a new venture. I mean, what is it that you want to do? Are you not getting the right promotion, and maybe you want to learn a little bit more about how do you elevate your career? What are others doing to just move up that ladder and knock out the glass ceiling? We're going to do all of that. We're going to just connect and relax and learn about technology and how to get our kids through college, and all kinds of stuff will happen at Moms Rock Expo. So that's what I want. I want us to just focus on ourselves first. Now, you can bring your kids if you want. We obviously are a kid-friendly event, but it really is about making sure that we focus on ourselves for those 2 days. But we'll be ready for you if you bring your kids.
Will there be activities there too for the children?
Yes.
Oh, how fun.
Yes. We're going to have a kids corner, and the kids corner will focus on primarily STEM activities. Science, technology, engineering, and math.
Sure.
And math. And the reason why that's important is because that's what our nation is lacking with regard to the workforce of the future. There's a big push on making sure our young people really start to learn to love and not be afraid of science and math, especially our girls. So we're going to have a big push on that in the Kids Corner. So there'll be lots of craft activities. We're going to have a real life female scientist doing lots of experiments in the kids' corner as well. And of course, you'll be able to do some fun things, like the doodle wall. You'll be able to just write your messages on a doodle wall and do activities and crafts and get your face painted. And, so lots of fun kid stuff too, but it's all going to be centered around STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math. And so the idea is to inspire the love of those things. So.
And I think another reason why I'm so excited about this event is in the world of social media, Pinterest,
yes,
where everything is so elaborate and you see all these moms who have these perfectly organized closets
yes.
and
Nailed it.
kitchens
Yeah,
and
nailed it,
desks,
exactly.
homework stations and perfectly manicured children and perfectly manicured lawn. I mean, you start to then doubt your own role as a mom and
Right.
thinking, maybe I'm not doing a good enough job. But
Right.
it sounds like with Moms Rock Expo, I will be able to interact with moms at every stage of the game.
Oh, absolutely.
I'll be able to celebrate where I am and then really remember to celebrate that and praise.
Absolutely.
This is a good job that I'm doing. And at the end of the day, it's about these little people that I'm
Absolutely.
in charge of.
Well, and not only that, at the end of the day, it's about you making sure you've got what you need to be healthy.
Right.
So that you can do a better job or do the job that you desire to do, taking care of others, your children, your husband, your friends, but if we haven't got it all pulled together, it's not going to work for them. And so Moms Rock Expo says, listen, access yourself,
Because it's a
it's
lonely
a lonely job.
Right.
Get down here and talk to other moms, see what they're doing, see what they're not doing. There's no such thing as perfect work-life balance. It's just a myth. It's not going to happen. In fact, one of our keynote speakers, Lee Woodruff, is going to speak to that. It's just not possible. We just have to work on being the best that we can be. There was no book on parenting. We just learn what we know, right? What our parents taught us and that sort of thing. The important thing is to get down and meet some new people that can add value to your life and that where you can add value to theirs. Because if we keep doing the same things over and over again with the same people, we don't get to grow either as moms. So Moms Rock Expo gives us a chance to sort of stretch out too, around, and get past that immediate circle because our head's always like this with whether it's carpooling, workouts, whatever. Just get out there, meet some new folks, and find out what's happening. You're going to be inspired the entire weekend.
I really like even just the name of the event,
I love
Moms
the
Rock. I
name.
mean, like
Love
right
the
there,
name.
it's celebrating the job
Right,
of a mom.
right.
It's not putting any particular group of moms in saying these are the moms, but it's like Moms Rock, period.
Well,
Like,
here's the thing. All moms, no matter how much money you make, how much money you don't make, we worry about the same thing when it comes to our kids, don't we?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Are they going to be well? How are they going to turn out? Are they going to come back home after they're 40? Did I raise them right? Do they have the tools they need to launch? Can we pay for all? It doesn't matter what stage of life you're in as a mom, how much money you have, married, single. It doesn't matter. We all worry about the same things. So.
Yeah, we all have to save for college.
Absolutely.
We all have to do those things.
Absolutely. And I'm so excited too that, we're able to give amazing moms not only our national celebrity keynotes that'll be there, but our local rock star moms. We're able to give them a platform too to showcase the best that they have to offer. And I'm proud to say that Junita Cathey Flowers will also be on our cooking stage. So we're going to be cooking all weekend long, and she's going to be our resident baker.
I'm excited about
So,
that.
so thank you for being there. It's going to be, people are looking forward to seeing you. I've been checking you out on social media, girl.
I appreciate that. And even talking about the Moms Rock Expo gives us an opportunity to talk about motherhood and maybe just even some of our own experiences.
Yeah.
One of the things I remember my very first Mother's Day, and my best friend for about 25 years, she has an older child. So when I had my first child, her oldest was like in middle school, and we were going out for breakfast for Mother's Day, and I said, well, are your kids coming? And she's like, no, Mother's Day is a break. I'm like, well, I'm bringing my daughter who was, all of 4 months old. I'm like, no, this is Mother's Day. This is the whole reason why I celebrate Mother's Day. But it took me a year of having a Mother's Day to realize, what? It's important to celebrate the role as a mom and give
Exactly.
yourself permission to take a break.
Absolutely.
Yes, your children are the reason that you are a mom and you get to
Exactly.
walk in that huge, huge calling. But if we don't take time for ourselves, we will never feel refreshed. We will never feel like we're doing good enough. And then at the end of the day, our children suffer. What are some of your experiences or wins as a mom?
Oh, I think that's true, and going even beyond the mom, I've become a grandmother, so you get to look back and on the perspective, remember how it was, and I think back in the day, there wasn't a lot of extracurricular things for me to do as a mother, so I was all alone
That's right.
in that, and you do get through it, and it's rewarding, but it's so great to see today all the things that moms do have at least some access to, if they can just get there and go out there. They need family, I think, to support,
Oh, no doubt.
to watch the kids when they go to this expo, so they don't necessarily always have to bring the kids, so
Right.
they can get
They
out
need that
and
support. They need
Yeah.
that so for me, it was really about being a single mom and not really, just being scared to death of what my daughter was going to turn out to be. She's 18 today and a rock star. She's going to be. She turned out just fine.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. But I was scared because I didn't come from a broken home. So I didn't, or I shouldn't say broken home, but a different type of relationship. My mom and dad stayed together till death do they part. That's how I was raised. And so here I was, after 3 years of marriage saying, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. I just can't. And I thought that was the best decision for me and my daughter, but it did scare me.
That's a
And
hard
so
thing for
it did
mothers
scare me.
to make that decision and end up okay with it and,
Right.
and follow through with it.
It scared me, but
Yeah.
we got through it, and my mother helped me raise my daughter. So our family is my mother, me, and my daughter. So 3 generations because I lost my dad. So we just became a team, and we made a rule of how we were going to do this together, and decided we're just going to move right through it. And we taught her that we can't control what other people do because her dad's not in her life at all.
Yeah.
And so we can't control that. You can only control how you react to it. So that was my biggest scary moment. But now that she's 18, I learned that I did do many of the right things to get her through that. So, and I'll be sharing a little bit of that at the
Yes,
expo.
And I think we, use the phrase so casually, it takes a village to raise a
Oh.
child. But it is important
It
for
does.
moms to surround yourself with other moms, whether it's ones that are in the same sort of stage you're in, of ones that have already,
gone through it.
gone through that place. But it's important because that does help you to validate your truth and understand that I'm not messing it all up, or I
Absolutely.
haven't made a big mistake because my child didn't start walking until they were
Were
two,
two,
or
right.
Whatever those things that we panic about. It is
Well,
really
We
important.
do.
Well, the thing about it, moms many of us, we just suck at asking for help. I mean, if we're going to keep it real, right? We just don't do a very good job at asking for help. And one of the things that we want to encourage moms to do is to do that. Say, look, girlfriend, really, I need you to watch these kids, or, husband, I need you to watch the kids. I want to go to Mom's Rock Expo, or I want to go do a girlfriend weekend, or I want to go do whatever. I mean, we have to lean on our friends and family. They want us to ask them for help, but they're nervous to volunteer because they don't want us to think that they think that we're not handling it. So it's all that, it's that yin and yang. So we're just not very good at it, and we need to do a better job at asking, just pulling in that support network. I agree with you completely.
Because if mama's not happy,
And
nobody's
nobody's
happy.
happy.
We're running out of time. This has been such a great topic. But before we start to wrap up, can you tell us how can people get more information on the expo? Do you have a website or?
Absolutely. People could get more information about Moms Rock Expo. Just log on to momsrockexpo.com, and it's all there.
It's awesome. I think this has been great. Like I said, I'm excited about the expo coming up. But I have to say, so far in life, being a mom has been the best job that I have had the opportunity to experience. So
Absolutely.
I think it
Ditto
gets
for
better.
me. Ditto
Me
for me.
too.
Yeah.
Yes. So, wow, our children are just, they
No.
have some great women in their lives.
Absolutely. It's an honor to be a mom. It really is. But we do want the support.
Yes,
we want
exactly.
the support.
So, moms rock. So on that note, Sharon, I want to say thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. This is so much fun.
Yes, it always goes by so fast,
I
so
know,
fast.
I know,
does.
but so much fun.
Yes, and thank you, Nadia. It's been good to just connect with you again and share this wonderful platform with you.
been
And
great.
thank you for watching us on It's a Woman's World. Coming up next, we'll have a panel discussion on routines versus spontaneity. Welcome back to It's a Woman's World. My name is Junita Cathey, and I'm thrilled to be joined with my co-host today, Nadia Giordana.
Hi, happy to be here.
Good to see you, Bonnie Watkins.
Hey.
Good to see you. And then we have Maggie Gravel, who's going to join us on our panel discussion today. Hi, Maggie.
Hi. I'm glad to be here.
Thank you. So this is one of my favorite parts of the show where we actually get to just sit around and have a roundtable discussion talking about something that is important or relevant to us. And so today we're going to spend some time talking about living a life filled with routine versus spontaneity. And before we started taping, we talked a little about being an introvert and an extrovert and how that impacts living a routine life or spontaneity. Maybe starting out, could we just share, do you think you're more of a routine person or more of a spontaneous person? Bonnie, what about you?
Well, that's a really hard question. I should already know the answer. It's the other overlay on all this is that technically speaking, I'm retired now. So nobody expects me to show up in an office. And you would think that would make it possible for me to be totally spontaneous, which I think is my bent. I'm creative. I have attention deficit disorder. I never know what I'm going to be doing half an hour from now. But over the course of a lifetime, including now, I've had to have some structure and find that structure is kind of freeing. So I would say mostly spontaneous, but I feel like I've learned to kind of manage my spontaneity. Like I tap it as a source of ideas, and that I still treasure it. That's what makes me feel free and truly retired, even though I have 1,000 things I'm doing. It's the spontaneity that makes life
So
fun.
if someone calls you and said, I'm your relative or whatever it is, and I'm from the neighboring town, and I'm going to be in town this afternoon. Sorry for the short notice, but come on and go shopping with me. Would you do that?
Probably not, because back to the original question, and we want to hear your version. I really like doing things by myself, the introvert,
That's
and I'm actually not a big shopper anyway. But yeah, even somebody I'm really fond of, I kind of want to know when I'm going to be interacting with them. But what's your thing?
That's an important point as far as wanting to go shopping or doing something like that by oneself. I usually want to plan ahead to do anything, whether it would be something like shopping or going to get a manicure or whatever. I like to plan ahead. I tend to be more introverted, so knowing my day's structure, I like to have that in it. But I do work on it, and I make a point to say yes if I at all can, because I am retired. I do have the time. So like you said, you'd think that we'd be just totally free. So it's in here that I don't have it. And that's strictly what that's all about. How about you?
I think for me, in the season of life that I'm in, routine is important because I have children. So I need to have sort of that stable foundation of this is what needs to happen. But I don't want to be stuck to that particular routine. I want to be able to have the creative authority to be able to change things up or switch things around, because that then adds more life to me. It makes our days feel like we're having fun and we're really enjoying life, as opposed to being stuck to the same routine all the time. So there's a little bit of a balance. I need that foundation of a routine, but I need to have some spontaneity. What about you, Maggie?
I also need balance very much because I'm naturally a very spontaneous person. I hate structure and order, and I'm a procrastinator. So I need routine in my daily life to function, really. It's something that I've been figuring out about myself, but I still like to have that spontaneity. Like, I actually, if a friend will text me out of the blue, say, hey, let's do this. If I'm free, I'll say, yeah, that sounds great. Let's go do something. Unless I have a bunch of stuff going on, but yeah, I think it's all about balance.
Or maybe we should talk about what we hate the most, because when you were saying that, I flashed on what I really hate are planning meetings. Let's sit down with our calendars and our schedules, as my husband likes to do occasionally, and plan things out.
Yes.
And when we had, I have the 2 kids, and at one point we had 2 cars for 4 people, so figuring out who's going to have the car today, there really was a lot of coordinating to do. But I just said, could you please just wake me up when it's over? I don't need a car. I won't go anywhere. Just figure it out, because meetings, I don't like meetings.
It's hard to plan something like that with more than 2 or 3 people because there are so many variables, and not everybody is spontaneous in that respect as far as being able to get to a last-minute meeting, because it's mostly the last-minute meetings that are more difficult. If you plan them way out, everybody knows ahead of time, and they kind of have to be there if it's business. But it's those short notice meetings and a larger number of people, even if it isn't business, even if it's social, that gets difficult.
I think there's so many tools now with social media that allows people to play to their strengths. So if you tend to be a person that needs routine to at least feel calm and balanced, you have all of these calendars that sync, and you can send a calendar request to 5 people and pick the time that works best. And the person that is more routine can come on the last minute. You know it's there, but I don't want to commit yet. And then I can commit whenever I feel like I could do this. So I think there are ways to help us to work together and be productive, but still allow those of us that thrive in spontaneity to still feel like we can be, sort of spur the moment. But those that need that routine, you can still be sort of feeling fulfilled and less anxious as well. Do you think it's different over seasons of your life when you tend to need one or the other?
Yes, it is different. I know that for me now, being retired, it surprises me, and I do try to be more spontaneous. But a few years ago, when I was working full-time and having the tendency not to, I definitely said no a lot more.
When it makes me think about cooking all the time, that when my kids were little, and I was mostly at home, cooking was my kind of only creative outlet, the only thing I could do. Well, there's tiny people who need to be watched closely 5 feet away from me. But I did not want to. There's people who loved it. They do all their cooking on the weekend, so they know exactly what they're going to have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I would just hate that.
I could never do
because
that.
Again, I
me
needed
neither.
some sense of freedom and spontaneity. So I want to ask Maggie, because you are a theater director, there must be a balance there, because you have all these creative people and they all want to be spontaneous, right?
yeah.
But you have to bring the show in, under a budget, within a timetable. And so how do you balance the spontaneity and the routine on behalf of everybody you're directing?
I think that's probably one of the biggest challenges of being a director. Because most productions you only have 3 to 5 weeks, and with most of the theaters I'm working at, people have day jobs, and so they're busy from 9 to 5. So we only have from 6 to 9 or 6 to 10 to get so much done, and only 4 weeks to do it. And you just really, everyone is creative, and creative people tend to get sidetracked. We're very expressive. People get silly, so you have to really look at the clock, and that's also what a stage manager is for as well. They tend to be more structural oriented, and but yeah, it is all about that balance, because you want to have fun too. You can't. I've found that sometimes as a director, I'm trying to plan out every little thing, and those rehearsals have not been successful. Yeah.
Well, maybe that's life in general. You have to kind of have a plan that gives room for things to not go according to plan.
Yeah.
So do the spontaneous people have more fun than the routine people?
That's a good question.
I mean,
I don't know. I think they do.
I think maybe they do, because I think they suffer less anxiety over the whole thing. They say, oh yeah, hey, let me get my cap and coat and go.
Yeah.
And someone who needs to plan and is doing something on the spur of the moment feels a little more anxiety over that social situation.
I think there can be. I draw huge comfort from routine sometimes too, though. Did you ever see the old Family Circus cartoon? The kid would have the little steps that the kid had taken all over the house and goes to the backyard, pet the dog. I drew that for myself once for my morning. So I get up, I brush my teeth, I go down, I have my coffee, I read the paper, I put part of the paper here and part of the paper there, and then I turn on my, I do love that predictability, which of course I can't always have when I'm traveling or something, but I look out the window and we have wonderful birds in the backyard, and so it's not spontaneous, but I could deviate if I wanted to. I think it's having the freedom that you could deviate if you wanted to.
Knowing that you can if you wanted to.
Yeah.
well, and I think that brings me to a thought of when you have small children, and if you're a person that really needs routine, so you have it all laid out, but we know the world of a 2-year-old, 3-year-old, even a 12-year-old, they're not always on your same agenda. So I'm wondering, at that point then, how do you still operate, sort of to your fullest as a person that really needs routine to feel balanced when the people that are in your closest circle are not doing that at all? Like, are you in panic mode all the time? Are you productive? I wonder how that works, you know?
Well, you're the one who knows, because that's what you're doing with your
But
life.
I like spontaneity.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah.
for me, I mean, it is important for children to have routine. So like you said, you know, there's a certain time, especially when before they were in school, my kids ate at a certain time. They went to bed at a certain time, and those things were important too, because I needed to refuel, or I needed those things so that I knew when I was on and when I was off. But once we got past like just the regular routine, this is how life is supposed to go for these 12 months. But what happens each day to make up that 12 months is what we can just kind of decide on our own. So I don't know. For me, I like the spontaneity, and it does make me feel like, okay, it's not boring. I don't know. You kind of
I
need
think
routine.
it does relieve the boredom, and I worked at a company one time. This was a wonderful, spontaneous thing that the company did for an entire company of like nearly 100 employees. It was in April. We'd had a bad winter, and then here we have this 85, 90-degree day, and the president declared a severe good weather alert and sent everybody home for the afternoon. It was on the news. It was so unique and so different. As we were all leaving, they had the news cameras out there. What is going on here with this company? Someone must have called. But a severe good weather alert. Everybody gets to go home. Well, I was spontaneous that day.
Wow.
Fabulous.
Wow, that is awesome.
Yeah.
We all need to check out that particular
Yeah,
CEO.
what company? I had a coworker once who had her own personal 70-degree days. Whenever the temperature exceeds 70 degrees, I think I have a little bit of a headache. I'm going to have to go home now.
I think that's excusable.
But you know, and maybe that was for some companies' attempt where several years ago you saw more companies going to like the half-day Friday, or you could work in the summertime, you could work so that you could have your Fridays off or leave early. Maybe that was companies' ways of playing to some of their employees that need that spontaneity. Of course, then everybody's going to their cabins in Minnesota, so you kind of got to plan for that
On
too.
Friday, yes.
So
Junita, I think we've talked about your kids, but also you're baking cookies. You have as a self-employed business owner, you don't have that CEO to let you off. So do you let yourself off sometimes?
you know, I do, and I think the thing with business is you have to make sure you're scheduling and guarding your time when you know you need to be in production mode, or you know you got to get something done, and then just as long as I'm able to do whatever. For me, being able to be there for my children, I'm okay if I have to stay up all night to bake or something because I get to be with my children. So I like that. I think the moral of the story is we have to routinely schedule spontaneity so that we can live a balanced life.
Exactly.
So I think we're coming to the end of our show. This has been another wonderful panel discussion. Thank you, Maggie, for joining us today and being a part of our little fun, spontaneous discussion today.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, thank you. And thank you, Nadia and Bonnie, for being here today. It's been a pleasure sitting here talking with you again.
It's fun.
And thank you for joining It's a Woman's World. We'll see you soon.